Saturday's massacre. Arizona Representative Gabrielle Giffords remains in grave condition, but is now breathing on her own. While most in America are focusing on healing the nation, too many are trying to use this terrible event to push for new regulations on everything from guns to speech. Joining me now to discuss the price of liberty is New York Congressman Michael Grimm. Congressman Grimm, it's a pleasure. Welcome here to Freedom Watch.
Thank you, Judge.
I know that you are new to the Congress and probably didn't expect a tragedy of this nature in your first week in office. But were you surprised when some members of the media and some colleagues of yours from both parties, you're a Republican, Democrats as well as Republicans, have been rattling sabers as if to suggest it's the fault of words, it's the fault of rhetoric, it's the fault of a rough and tumble political campaign that caused this crazy person to try and kill your colleague?
Well, I'm not surprised by that in the sense that it's a normal human reaction to want to blame someone, to want to blame something, to find out why something like this happens when the reality is there is no reason why crazy people do what they do in this world. Bad things happen to good people every day. And that's why I called, really, for all of my colleagues, even though I may be brand new, I have a lot of experience as a former combat veteran of the Marines and a former FBI agent. I've seen a lot of tragedy in my day. And I would say dial back. It's a time to take a step back, reflect, and really consider what we're doing, because I don't want to see any reactionary legislation.
You took an oath the other day to uphold the Constitution. This is an oath you've taken before, when you joined the Marine Corps, when you joined the FBI. Probably every time you got a promotion in the FBI,
This is my fourth time in a fourth different capacity taking this oath.
It's a solemn oath. You and I have taken the same oath at various times and for various reasons in our lives. Do you think your colleagues in the Congress, those who are saying it's time to re-examine free speech, those who are saying, I don't want guns near me, even if they're possessed by law-abiding people, do you think they understand that oath and understand the Constitution to which they are swearing it?
Again, I do think my colleagues understand the oath. I do believe they respect the Constitution. What I think you have here is an emotional reaction, which again is normal. This is a tremendously horrific tragedy. And I think some of my colleagues are overwhelmed by the emotion of it, as well as, listen, they're scared, and rightfully so. Whenever you reveal yourself to the public for the first time, as some of my colleagues are in the public spotlight for the first time,
right?
They're worried about themselves, their family, their staff, their volunteers. So it is, I believe, a natural reaction, but that's why I caution them to just take a step back.
Should government bureaucrats be looking at and deciding what people can say on radio and television or in political campaigns, or does the First Amendment basically say you can say whatever you want?
Well, I believe, as the law is written now, is sufficient and is a well-written law. I mean, the reality is, obviously, you can't incite a riot, okay? But, yes, I believe wholeheartedly that I went to war for the freedom of speech, freedom of religion, you know, for all the Constitution stands for, and I would do so again, and I would give my life in honor of the First Amendment.
And you believe in the right to keep and bear arms, the Second Amendment?
100%, yes, I do.
Do you believe that it should be illegal to carry a gun within 1,000 feet of a politician, like one of your colleagues has suggested the law should be?
You know, I'm actually hoping to do a conference call tonight with my colleague, Peter King, to get a briefing fully on what he plans on introducing as far as legislation. Of course, there has to be some measures taken, and maybe all the measures are already taken, to keep those in the spotlight protected. The Capitol Police, for example, do an incredible job. I feel very secure. I personally know that I have the training and I have the heightened awareness that I would recommend to all of my colleagues. What I'm recommending to leadership is a little bit of training and awareness training, most of all, so that colleagues can feel more comfortable.
Two of your colleagues, Jason Chaffetz, a Republican, and Heath Shuler, a Democrat, are going to carry their own sidearms. Like you, they are trained in the use of them. Wouldn't that keep members of Congress safer, rather than saying, no guns near us, we're somehow different from the rest of the public?
Well, I think that has to be at the option of the member. If it is allowed for a member to carry a weapon, and they have the proper training, that's something they have to feel comfortable with. A weapon is not for everyone. I mean, I know a lot of people that, although they can have the training, they're still not comfortable with it. And you have to remember something, Judge, and you know this already. When you carry a weapon, every altercation that you have is potentially a deadly altercation. That is a huge responsibility.
But you also know, as an ex-FBI agent, that where there are more lawfully possessed guns, there's a lot less crime.
Well, yes, I do believe that. And I was asked recently, do I think that we should now use this to dial back more gun control? And I said, absolutely not. And as someone that has been in law enforcement and been in the military, I have never seen a study that proves that more regulations on guns means less violence in the streets. Never. No one has ever been able to prove it because that's just not the case. It's not the facts.
Congressman Michael Grimm, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Judge.
The blame game in this tragedy